All right, we are live. Good to see everybody. It's been a while. We are live here Saturday, December 2nd, 10:02 a.m. Pacific time here in Las Vegas. Good to see everybody. We have a good one here today. We have the Lenovo ThinkPad. I wanted to say X1 Extreme, but there is no longer an X1 Extreme. We have this instead, which of course they folded into the P1 line. It's the ThinkPad P1 Gen 6 here. So good to see it here in the studio. Finally, been waiting quite a while for it. I want to thank Lenovo for sending it over. And for those wondering, I do have the Z16, believe it or not, the Gen 2 finally coming early next week. It's on its way to the studio. So for those that have been waiting for the Z16 running the AMD platform, that's coming. I don't know about the Z13. I would suspect that's also on the way as well very soon. This is, of course, the refresh for the very popular one we saw last year. So that is coming. But we have this here. Again, no X1 Extreme this year. They're using the P1 series as that venue for that particular unit. And it's pretty loaded here. We're going to get to the specs in a moment. But before we do that, let's say hello to a few people here. We have Darren still rocking the P16 Gen 1. Is the Gen 2 worth it? Well, I don't know. I don't have the P16 Gen 2 here, but I did look at the Gen 1 and I liked it a lot. Don't understand why these professional laptops have OLED options. They aren't good for anything professional color work. Well, I disagree on that. Color accuracy, coverage of the color gamut are excellent on that. If anything has been proven, that has been the case. That's at least my opinion. Good to see William here. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, and likewise. That is, it's been great. I went to Italy. We'll talk about that if we have some time. I was in Rome. I also went to the ruins of Pompeii and the Amalfi Coast and Positano over there and all these great places in Italy. It was great. Finally made it to a live stream. Good to see you, Andy. I'm glad you're able to join us. Jeff C., is this the highest end Lenovo flagship? I would say it's up there. It's got to be as far as being one of the best that they do offer. Good to see Mallory. It's been a while, so I hope you've been doing well. I'm glad you're here, of course. Gurno, hi there. Keshi Zamora, and here I'm debating if I should get the T14 Gen 4 AMD. Love seeing things I can't afford. You know, again, there's a price range for everyone. This is going to be expensive, of course, and we'll get to the pricing in a moment, but it does pack a lot for what you're getting here. Good to see Patrick here. Tony Brown, looking forward to my thoughts. I bought mine a couple of months ago and do not regret upgrading from my Extreme Gen 2. And again, like I said, there is no Extreme. They're using the P1 series here for that. So pretty much the same, I would think. We're going to take a look at what this one has, of course, in a moment. And that's it. So those are some of the great people here that we have to start it. We already have 67 of you, so a nice turnout so far. I haven't done a live stream in a while. All right, let's get to the specs of this unit. Let me bring it onto the stream here. And as you can see here, there is a starting price of $1,639. Of course, the one I have here does have the OLED display here, so you're going to have to pay more, obviously. It's the 16-inch UHD Plus 3840 by 2400 OLED touch display, 400 nits. This is running the 13th gen Intel Core i7 13800H, a very capable processor. The NVIDIA GeForce RTX 4080 GPU, I believe, is the one we have, but I'll double check that. I think that's the one we have. It could be the 4070, but I don't know what they sent over. Now, this one has 32 gigabytes of RAM, DDR5 5600 non-ECC, but there are different combinations, and I think this one has the one stick in one of the SODIMM slots, but you can now, I think you can upgrade that. Again, I'll have to double check all that when we open it up. But 32 gigabytes of RAM, I don't know if it's in dual channel mode is what I'm trying to say. We could fix that, of course, by putting in two sticks, even sticks, and we'll see. Storage, 1 terabyte of storage here, 90 watt hour battery, Wi-Fi 6E, Bluetooth 5.1 or above. I don't know which one this one has. And then the optional 5G. I don't think my unit has that, as this will go to the next panel here. Let me move it over. So here's weight and stuff like that. So this is going to be priced as tested, at least when I put this together, $29.66. Link for those interested in the description below. You're looking at 1.78 kilograms or 3.92 pounds as far as a starting weight. We'll get our own measurement, of course, in a moment. It's got either the hybrid 5-megapixel infrared camera with the webcam privacy shutter. I think that's the one they sent over. There's another option, which would be 1080p. This is 5 megapixels, so I think that's the one we have here. IR camera, of course, means you can log in with Windows Hello. Fingerprint reader. 90% recycled magnesium, recycled aluminum, so nice durability we're expecting here, 810H military rating. And we have 2 Thunderbolt 4 ports. We'll get into all of the ports in a moment. We don't need to spell it out here right away. And that is what we have here so far. Now, if you want to pick one up, you can go over to Lenovo's website and you can check it out. Again, there's the P1 Gen 6. Prices tested here today, at least when I put this together the other day, $2966.70, which, considering what you're getting on the hood, is not the worst price in the world. So that, of course, is all subjective. So that is the specs and pricing on the unit. So you know the drill, folks. We'll get to some of your comments and questions in a moment, but you know the drill. Let's get it out of the box. So let's do that right now. Okay, so let's, we got some documentation here. Let's get this off of the table here. Let's get these things out of the way. All right, so pretty eco-friendly packaging, so we'll see how that's all going to go. We have a power brick here. We're going to get a look at that in a moment. A little bit of a mess here. Okay, so we have a 230-watt power adapter. You can see it here. Now, this, of course, uses Lenovo's proprietary connection, although you can charge with the Thunderbolt 4 ports that are full function, but this will give you 230 watts of juice, especially with the CPU, GPU we have here. That is what you're going to want to use. So let's put that to the side. We're going to plug this in. You get your power cord as well. And then some documentation here, okay? So typical stuff here, ThinkPad P1 Gen 6 here, and then some warranty information. You know the drill. Okay, so yada, yada, yada. And then, of course, you get the unit itself, and this is what we've been waiting for here. And let's get this cloth off of this. It's on a little bit tight here. Let's see. There we go. And I could tell you right away, it's going to have that carbon fiber. All right, hold on. Just give me a second. I have to tell my mother, believe it or not, that I'm on a live stream. So just give me a second. Mama David's on the phone. It's happening live, folks. Yeah, I'm live right now. I can't talk. Okay, bye. That was Mama David. I don't mean to cut her off, but but that's what happens when things are live, right? Okay, so where were we? This is the unit itself, and you got that carbon fiber weave here, which I absolutely love. Ooh, this looks gorgeous. That means we got the OLED display. That indicates we got the OLED display. You can see it here, and then, of course, you can see it here. Now, this will collect fingerprints, of course, so just keep that in mind. But, of course, this is going to be, as we come into focus there, it's having trouble focusing. There we go. The high-end unit here. All right, so let's see, a little bit of flex. No, nothing, actually, with this carbon fiber magnesium alloy here. And let's see if we can open it with one finger. We can. And there she is. And she is a beauty, of course. We've seen this before with the X1 Extreme line, and, of course, with this P1 series, okay? Yeah, we're going to say hello. We said hello to my mom. Greetings from Germany to Mama David. Mummy David. All right. So build quality is very good, Dustin. I know you're asking here. So the build quality is very good here. This is what you'd expect on this high-end machine here. Again, there's a look at the keyboard. You got two grills here. I'm assuming they're either speaker grills or venting grills. I don't remember. This has got V Pro. Now, V Pro gives you a little bit more features as far as IT and so forth, control, certain standards it has to reach, and, of course, a little bit higher clock speed. And then, of course, you have the ThinkPad logo, the track point, the trackpad that we are familiar with, and then, of course, the familiar keyboard here. And let's take a listen to it. Okay, so everything seems pretty good, and it's a ThinkPad. So a couple of things to note about this. This is a backlit keyboard. It's a spill-resistant keyboard. And I believe this also has that air intake system. I can double check here real quick. Let me see here, Control F. And it does. I believe it does have it. But again, that was present on the X1 Carbon. I'm sure it's here as well. All right, so let's see over here. Let's turn it on. Now, this is going to be the OLED display, but let me plug it in first, actually. So let me put it on here. Let me get the 230-watt power charger. Oh, geez. Well, hope Lenovo's not watching here. I'm a little bit rusty here because I haven't done one in about a month. Again, I just came back from Italy, had a spectacular time. Highly recommend it for anybody who's not been there, to go there and go to the ruins. Now, I went to the Colosseum. I went to the Palladino, the Roman Forum. Pretty amazing stuff, actually, to be honest. And highly recommend anybody who gets a chance to go there. A lot of history everywhere you walk. There's the Pantheon. I actually stayed near the Pantheon. Okay, we're plugged in. All right, so let's see if this has any juice. Let's turn this on. Okay, there you can see it's a little bit of a glossy display here. Okay, so this will be the first boot. Now, Lenovo usually sets this up in advance, so I don't think we have to go through the whole process, which is always welcome, of course. We want to get right to the point here, as we say. So that'll be good there. Yeah, as I was correct there. And there she is. There's the OLED display. Good to see Il Parini. He's from Rome. Roma. Nice. All right, so it is a touchscreen, of course. OLED, UHD+. Now, I don't know if I have a pen here. Let me see. That works with this. I believe it should have pen support. I don't remember. These might have no juice in them, but if somebody knows, does this have, I believe this does have pen support. I'll have to find a Lenovo pen, or a compatible pen, I should say. MPP 2.0 maybe. I don't remember, but we'll get that all in the full review. But getting back to this is a beautiful touchscreen OLED display. Now, somebody said earlier that OLED are not great for professional work. I disagree. I mean, at least from my perspective, the OLED displays have had excellent coverage of the color gamut, excellent color accuracy, tend to be much better in that regard than IPS displays. So that's at least my take on it, and the many OLED displays and different displays I've come across here on the channel. So this is the really nice high-end display. You can't go wrong with it. It's a bright display. So I think they're claiming 400 nits, 500 maybe of peak brightness. I'll have to double check that, but it's a really nice display. And then for those that want to see, I'm not plugged in. Hold on. Let me plug this in as well to my dock here. So you can see that. And let's see if it can show you through my HDMI here that, there we go. There you can see what I'm doing. Let's take a look at the display settings. Hold on, we'll get to that in a moment. So the display settings here are right down here. So 3840 by 2400. So if we go to advanced display, 60 hertz. So it's not a high refresh rate. Again, business focus first with this, folks, and also professional use. Again, it is P series. So what does that mean? Workstation, right? So that is one thing you'll have to keep in mind. Now, let me put in the network credentials here so we can get connected to the internet. I'm putting it in right now. Again, the keyboard is very good here. One of the reasons I keep going back to the ThinkPad line, and specifically to things like the X1 Carbon Gen 11. And for those that didn't see it, I did my revisit. I teamed up with Lenovo and Intel for a sponsored video, as I mentioned, but I was glad to go back to it. I wanted to take a look at that X1 Carbon Gen 11. I'll drop a link for those interested when we're done. And it does not have pen support, only the P16 Gen 2. All right, thank you, Rudolph, for clarifying that. I wasn't sure. I remember there was one that does have it, so no pen support. Realistic to see Linux compatibility check here in another review. Yeah, so Dustin, I've been talking about doing Linux. I believe you can definitely put Linux on this. I would be shocked if you couldn't. Yeah, Duck Vision, it's beautiful here. There's no question about it. All right, so good to see you, by the way, Duck Vision. Lenovo is damn good. I kind of agree with you, my friend, and you're from Sri Lanka. All right, so, and you're saying these are speakers. Well, we'll take a look at the sound and everything in a moment. Let me add that to the broadcast so people can see what you said. Yeah, speaker. Okay, we'll see. All right, so let's load in a few benchmarks right off the bat, and you can see what I'm doing here. I have a few already loaded, but we'll get some up and running. Actually, let me load those in real quick here, just to get things rolling here. As we have quite a few of you today, which is good to see. 116 of you. Nice little turnout. Again, people waiting for the X1 Extreme, people waiting for the P1. Well, no X1 Extreme, but there is the P1 this time. So pretty much the same laptop or workstation, I should say. And so we've been waiting for it. Here it is, and it's been great to have it here, of course. Let me also go to Geekbench. Let's do a Geekbench 6 download here. Let's get that benchmark going. Let's download it. And let me download that real quick. Put myself down there. All right. So, of course, this is our first boot up and everything. Now, before we do that, well, that's doing that rather. Let's see the device manager here. Let's see here. So this device display adapter, oh yeah, it is the 4080. So that's good. RTX 4080. UHD graphics are the secondary part of that. That's internal or integrated. But of course, the GPU is the RTX 4080, which we're glad to see. So one other thing I want to see here is NVIDIA control panel here. I want to see the wattage of that, or the TGP of it. And let's see what comes up here. So let me make that more enlarged here. So 105 watts here of maximum graphics power, according to this. Advanced Optimus, no. Let's see what else we can glean from this. Yeah, 105 watts. Dynamic boost, yes. Okay, so 105. So we should get some pretty good video editing capability, 4K. Gaming capability, of course, I'll check all that in the full review. Can it make espresso shot of coffee? Good to see you, Mr. Rainbow Loves Coffee. No, but I actually did buy what did I get? The Breville Espresso Barista Express. So Touch. The Breville Barista Express Touch, which is an amazing, expensive, but an amazing espresso machine. Good to see our friend Pete Fox with a nice super chat here. So give it up for Pete Fox. Good to see you. All right, so nice to get things off. Enjoying the Saturday live. Yes, it's a special Saturday live stream, and it looks like we got Europe involved here. We got some of the good time zones. Maybe we should make it a regular thing again, right? That would be great. All right, so Intel is embarrassing. What? I wouldn't go that far. Listen, we have the Z16, by the way, which is a collaboration between Lenovo and AMD coming early next week. Wonderful espresso machine. And I got to tell you, I had 2 lattes already from that machine, and I'm already hyped up. So that's going to help us get through this live stream. So there you go. All right. So that is, now that we have that downloaded, let's go to our downloads here. Let's do the Geekbench. And again, the initial test, I didn't do any updates or any kind of driver updates or anything like that. Firmware updates, which may be or may not be on the way. We'll see. But just to take it with, this is not going to be the final result is what I'm trying to say. So just take the result with that in mind, with a grain of salt, and we'll get to the final result in the full review. And I will, of course, get that to you as soon as possible. Next week, I am attending a press briefing in New York. So a lot of traveling, of course, this time of year. We have CES coming next month, so a lot of stuff needs to be shown. A lot of the brands are doing their briefings and so forth, so a lot of traveling to do. And I am enjoying the espresso machine, my friend. So thank you. Yes, and judging by that you love coffee, you are a connoisseur, I would imagine. So good to see that. And I take your, you know what you're talking about, obviously. So that's good. Yeah, I'm a big coffee. I like coffee. So drink too much of it, but, I enjoy it. And, getting the right brew on the espresso with the temperatures, and it's an art. It's an art form, and I'm learning, but it's pretty interesting nonetheless. All right. So this is going to be the first one we're doing. Oh, you know what I didn't do? And this will affect the score. Let me see if it is on best performance. And then the Lenovo the Vantage app. I think it's controlled, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Let's go to the device. Forgot to do this, but let's see what the power settings are on. Yeah, intelligent cooling. So we're okay. We should be okay. So how has everybody been as we have 111 of you watching? If you haven't already done so, hit the thumbs up button. We have only 45 likes with over 100 people watching. So please do me that favor, hit that thumbs up. Now, the other thing is we're very close to 150,000 subscribers. We're about 225 or so away from that. So if you're not subscribed to the channel and really enjoy the content, I got plenty of stuff coming. So why not hit that subscribe button? And of course, there are other ways to support the channel. In addition to that, there are super chats, as we already had a super chat already. And then, of course, memberships certainly help out the channel on a monthly basis. I want to thank our members, of course, and that helps support the channel. And of course, if you go through my affiliate links, it certainly helps out the channel as well, as we get a small commission. Everything I make on that goes back to the channel to get the devices that are not sent to me. And this year, of course, I didn't do the Microsoft Surface Laptop Studio 2. It was just way too expensive, and I wasn't excited about it, to be honest. And Microsoft never sent me one, of course. So, if it can get it on a discount, maybe we'll do it. But I didn't see a compelling reason with such a high price tag to review it this time around. So unfortunately, we have to make those decisions. We don't have unlimited funds here, so that is certainly the case. So that's why any kind of help certainly does help out the channel. Joined a bit late. Possible to post your device specs again. We can do that while this is running. And for those that are joining us late, these are the specs of the unit. So you can take a look at that. And of course, key here is going to be the Core i7-13800H, the GeForce RTX 4080 GPU. Those are the two things that I wanted to see. And the OLED display, third thing, of course. So that is where we are. Okay, so those are the specs of the unit. You can pause that if you want. And we got another super chat here from our good friend, Bradley Cochran. All right. You like my work? Will you look at Microsoft at the MS Max? Microsoft Max. Is that what you're saying? Like running Microsoft Windows on Macs? We can definitely look at that. That's for sure. That's for sure. Or are we talking about the M series Macs, which is the M3? Again, every time I do a MacBook, it doesn't do well on the channel. I don't get them in advance like other channels do, and it just doesn't seem that. Is this a laptop competitor to the 7680? I would say the P16 would more compete directly with that, I would think, although you can make the case for this. This is more a thin and light version of the P1, well, the P series, I should say. So yes, in some degree you can, but again, I would look at the P16 as being a direct competitor to the 7680. Mistake. What is the mistake? I meant, the M3. Yeah, that's what I kind of thought. So the M3, Bradley, I could do it again. I'd have to go out of pocket, very expensive. And if history has been any indication on my channel, people just don't seem to care for the Macs. I do. I mean, I use all the platforms. I'm platform agnostic, but that makes sense. Again, I love your work. Thank you. No problem, Bradley. And thank you for the super chat. This is why mastering monitors uses dual layer LCDs and not. Okay. You probably know better than me. I'm just going by the numbers. They lose color accuracy over time due to subpixel decay. They aren't recommended to professionals. Okay. Thank you for letting us know that. That's for sure. Would it be nice if Lenovo laid out all their computer models on a spreadsheet and list the basic options? They have so many different models. It does get confusing differentiating between them. That is a good point, William, for sure. That is a good point. And we got another super chat here from Dustin Dews, or Dews, and he says, keep up the great work. Would love to see more comprehensive Linux tests on your channel. That would make my purchasing much easier. I know I've been saying that for a long time. Now, this is the initial, and by the way, thank you for that super chat. All right, so here is the score here, 12,236. I would suspect it goes up to about 14, 15,000 once we have everything all booted up. 2682, everything updated would be there. Let me take a screenshot here. All right, let's do real quick while we have it, the RTX 4080, the OpenCL test. Uzair Aziz from Pakistan. Good to see you, my friend. You like my work. I like that you like it, so that's good. Does it use USB-C for charging? So right now, you can use the USB-C. I'm using it to connect to my Thunderbolt dock, but this is plugged into that 230-watt power charger. And by the way, it's not even warm at all. It's been pretty cool so far, but we really haven't pushed it all the way yet. Yes, you can charge with this, and I guess up to 100 watts, as USB-C limits it to some extent. So you can use that. So there are a couple of options to charge. But we can double check that once we unplug it. But again, we're running a benchmark right now. All right. Okay, pretty good score. Okay, let me take my screenshot there. All right, so that's the Geekbench 6, and we'll get final results on all that very soon. We can do one real quick, the older test, which is the Cinebench R15. It's a really fast one, so let's just get that out of the way. We'll test the SSD as well, and of course, we'll test the multi-core performance, and maybe if we have time, the single core on the R23. Now, the R24 I'm starting to incorporate into my reviews. We don't have that. I don't have that loaded down. It takes a little bit of time, although we can try to download it maybe. We'll see if we have time. But I'm starting to move, I'll do the R23 and the R24, moving towards the middle of next year to just R24, as that is the latest test. And that focuses on not only the CPU, but they're doing a nice focus on the GPU as well. And once we start getting some more tests on the different units, more scores, we'll have a little bit of a database, and it'll be a little bit more informative to you as to how each unit compares to each other on the same standardized tests, as you know we like to do. All right, so let's do the OpenGL. This will test the RTX 4080 graphics. So let me get some coffee while this is running, and I have my Lenovo mug here. So there you go. How do I do this according to George Ken? You saying it's quite expensive. Do you loan and they refund? No. They send me a review unit. Lenovo, in this case, sends me a review unit. I have it for X amount of time. They're pretty generous in terms of how long I can keep it, doing follow-up reviews or comparison videos. But at some point, I do send it back. Because a couple of reasons. Number one, I'm not allowed to keep it. Number two, it would just accumulate. And that has been the issue in the past. And then I run out of space here. We have, I don't have the unlimited space. I need to get room for the new stuff as it comes in. So I will reset them, pack it up, send it back to where hence it came from. So there you go. Do you know how scores CPU and GPU compared to the M3 Max? We could take a look at it. So let me see here. So if we go to Geekbench, MacBook, let's see, M3 Pro. We'll start with the Pro. So the 16-inch M3 Pro 2023 version did 15,000 on the multi-core and single-core 3,081. Again, I haven't really updated this. I haven't played around with the settings, so just keep that in mind. But that's just to give you an example of what you can expect. I would say this is the 14 to 15,000 range. Bring back the laptop tile floor. I don't think my wife would appreciate that. It got ridiculous after a while. I cleaned a lot of that out. So just for those wondering, I had so many laptops who I had nowhere to put it. I put it on the floor. It almost became like a tiled mosaic floor. So there you go. Pretty good score here, as you can see. And then let's do the CPU test, a pretty quick test here. So Jeff Durr, I have it actually coming on Monday or Tuesday at the latest. I called Lenovo Z16 Gen 2 is coming in January in Europe, was supposed to come out. It was late. It was late, right? It was late. So I have my review unit on the way, the Z16 Gen 2. Now, as far as the Z13, I don't have any information as the fans are coming in right now. So 2779. Let me take a screenshot of that. Now, one of the things you need to keep in mind, this is a portable and we didn't weigh it. We should probably weigh it now. I forgot to do that. So this is a pretty portable unit, right? So what this brings is portability and power. So it's a blend of both. And you can see the carbon fiber deck, which is absolutely gorgeous. And you know something? I haven't noticed too many fingerprints so far. But again, they tend to get fingerprints, but maybe the oleophobic coating they're using is pretty good. All right, please check the throttling limits and CPU power and wattage on long load. Yeah, I will do all that, of course. It's all coming in the review. So Z16 is coming. All right, so let's go back to here. So that is the score. Let me save the results. Okay, let's do one. Let's weigh it first. That's what I wanted to do, and then we'll do the SSD. So let me unplug this. Let me unplug that. Okay, and we're going to bring out the scale. Okay, let's turn on the scale. So right now it's in kilograms. So just the unit alone, 1.858 kilograms, which is 4 pounds, 1.5 ounces. So for the fact that you're getting that H-series processor, the 4080 GPU, that's a pretty light load here. Now, the power brick is pretty big here. Now, I'm not going to do the power cord here because I don't want to have to unplug everything, but just this alone. So let's put this back on here. Let's put it back to kilograms. And again, there it is, 1.858. There it is. And then with this power brick, 230 watt, it goes up to 2.547 kilograms, which is 5 pounds, 9.8 ounces. So all told, considering what this is packing under the hood, I would say it's a pretty decent weight for travel. Okay, let me plug that back in. Okay, so let's put this to the side. All right, let's get back to what we were doing. Now, let's test to see if this does support charge. So here's my Thunderbolt cable to my dock. This is we got 2 Thunderbolt ports. Let's go over the ports also. That's the other thing we need to do. But before we do that, yes, it says slow charger, and you can see it here. Oh, it should be there. Hold on. Wrong one, maybe. Let's see. Let's go back into here. Just give me a second. It should come on. Hold on. Maybe it's this one. I don't know. Things are probably doing the background, but the bottom line is it is charging. Oh, here it is. Okay. So it's what it did when I plugged it in. It said it was a slow charger. That's what it is. So it is showing that it is charging, but slowly, and it's fully charged. All right, so let me plug this back in with the 230 watt charger here. Again, things are doing things in the background. We'll run a Geekbench again. I want to see what the updated score will be. We'll do that in a moment. But let me show you. It's plugged in there. All right. So let's get the SSD. I want to see how fast that SSD is. So if we go to the downloads here, the Crystal Disk Mark test, there it is. Hold on, let me close these windows. There's too many things going on here. Okay, so we go over here. Okay. And let's go to downloads. There we go. So let's do this disk mark. Let's extract that and get it in a few seconds. It's pretty quick. Top 3 budget laptops with stylus support. Oh boy, stylus. Well, one of the things I wanted to say was the Pavilion Plus from HP, but it doesn't have stylus support. That was the one thing that just came to my mind because it's such a good deal. All right, so here we go. So this is a 1 terabyte SSD. Right now we have 81 of you watching. So let's hit that thumbs up. We only have 61 likes with 81 watching. So far, very good reads. Yeah, so we will check everything there, Dimitri. We'll check. With the next Thunderbolt 5, you can charge to 240 watts. Yeah, so that's the next gen, right? Right now we're at Gen 4, or Thunderbolt 4, I should say. And I think the limit is technically 100 watts, although there are ways to go above that. We've seen Dell do 130-watt USB chargers. We've seen that in the past, and other brands have done it as well since. And again, I do have the Z16 Gen 2 coming. So any other questions on that? That is coming. Thank you. Hit the like button. I do appreciate that. All right, so we're getting the scores here. For those that are joining us late, this is the back of the unit here. This is the P1 Gen 6. Goes back, by the way, as far as you see here. Yeah, about 180 degrees, right? So you can see it goes far back as you see there. You can see it there, which I love. And by the way, the hinges, pretty good. Pretty nice and tight. So when you're typing, you're not going to see too much screen wobble. So I like the way the hinges are on this. It's pretty good. It is a glossy display. Right now, it's a little blown out. Let me bring it down a little bit. There you go. Maybe down one more. There we go. That is looking good, folks. It is a beautiful laptop, I got to say. I mean, I love it. Organic, OLED is organic. It will deteriorate. Screen burn-in is one thing to be concerned about. Again, I've only experienced it on my television upstairs, my LG OLED TV. It's about 3.5, 4 years old. And that one, it does have burn-in issues. So, but as far as the laptops I've had, I would say at least 100 over the last couple of years. And I haven't really not seen any screen burn-in. That's not been an issue. Again, I do rotate these a lot, so just keep that in mind. So according to, I don't know, I don't read Japanese, but my company selected P1G3, and literally everyone has experienced the laptop breaking down due to thermal issue. We're going to test the thermals, of course, in my upcoming full review. Mine also broke down. I really hope G6 doesn't do that. Again, we just took it out of the box, but I will test the thermals, see if it throttles and all that stuff in my full review. So just keep that in mind. All right. How hot is the keyboard? Not hot at all. We're going to get a measurement of the surface temperatures in a little bit while I do the R23 test. So just bear with us. Curious if it's possible to have 2 SSDs and a DGPU at the same time. I don't know. We have to open that up. We have to see what's going on. Fawad, Andrew, is it worth considering the 14th gen Intel processor is out? What ThinkPad will be getting Meteor Lake in this category? Again, it's a little early, although CES is upon us, so we'll see what Lenovo, Dell, HP, all the big brands, Asus, Acer, all the brands have to offer in the, we're going to know very soon, so stay tuned. But this is 13th gen, right? So we've been waiting for this one. I've been waiting for it at least for a while, but we finally got it into the studio. And again, I want to thank Lenovo. Again, Lenovo's not paying me. They're not sponsoring me. This is a review unit that will go back once my review process is done, and maybe we'll do some comparison videos and stuff like that. Once it's done, yes, you can. Hi, Andrew. According to Afif Network, I was interested in Lenovo lineup. Can you suggest to me a slim laptop with high-end specific? My main work is about product design. Well, the Slim Pro 7, depending if you want a 14.5 inch, Slim Pro 9i, that is another one to look at. If you want a Lenovo, there are a bunch of others we can talk about. Asus has a really good one as well. We took a look at that. There are so many we can take a look at, of course, but we have so little time today. But those are just some right off the top of my head. What about the SD card? All right, let's take a look at the. And we got the score here, by the way. You can see it here. 7,000 reads, 5681. Very good reads and writes. That's the bottom line. All right. So let's put this over here, and let's take a look at the ports, right? Let me move this off the stream here. Okay, so here we go. So we have our power port in. We've got two Thunderbolt 4 ports. They are full function. You've got your HDMI 2.1. Let me just make sure that is 2.1. Let me go to the tech specs here. According to this, the HDMI is 2.1, so 4K 60. If you want 4K 60, you can. We've got your 3.5 millimeter microphone headphone combo jack. All right, this is the SD card. Let's take an SD card, which I have right here. Okay, my Pro grade, which I recommend. So let's see if it goes flush with the unit. It does not. It sticks out a little bit, as you can see here. Clearly, that sticks out, but I don't like that. I like when it goes flush to the unit, although they have space constraints here, so that might be one reason it's not. But it does have a full-size SD card, which I always appreciate, especially as a content creator. So that's the SD card. Two USB-A ports, a Kensington lock port to round out the port. So that is the port selection, so pretty good there. I would say all in all, a good port selection. No LAN port, although you can use an adapter. But it does have the SD card, which I do appreciate. As I said, two Thunderbolt 4, the HDMI 2.1. What more can you ask for? Okay. So good port selection. Hamza's saying, hi, Andrew. Is the U series of Intel 13 and 14 good for Photoshop and Illustrator? Depends on how many layers you're doing in Photoshop. For basic work, you're going to be fine. If you're doing some complicated stuff, if you're doing video editing, 4K, I would look for something with a discrete GPU. But 13th and 14th gen processors generally are good. And which one are you talking? U series, 15 watt versus the P series, which is 28 watt. 15 watt, you just got to temper your expectations. Just know the limitations there. But for the most part, very good general purpose, efficient processors for better battery life as well. All right. But AMD, to me, by the way, is the most efficient as far as that is concerned. And, of course, the M series of MacBook chips are the most efficient as well. All right. So that is some of those are the ports. We looked at the keyboard. The display we got to look at a little bit. It is a touch screen. Now, let's go here. You can see I'm logging in here. Pretty responsive touch screen. So that is done. Let's get the Cinebench R23. But before we do that, actually, I forgot about the camera. Let's take a look at what we got here as far as the camera is concerned. Let me load that in here. Let me plug this in. So this is the Windows app, okay? And it looks like we have the AI or studio effects here, and you can see here. So this is what it looks like. So with the studio effects here, you can see it here. We got the auto framing, okay? That keeps you always in frame. Okay, and then let's turn that off. And then you've got eye contact, which keeps you always looking at your subject, whatever. A little bit creepy, as I always say. Let's turn that off. Background blur effect. This one actually works out pretty well. That looks pretty good. So those are some of the effects. Now, let's go to the settings here. And right now it's on 1080p, but because it is the 5 megapixel version, we can go to 1440p. And this is what the 1440p looks like. Now, One thing to note, there is a shutter switch here. You could probably see it here. There is a shutter switch right there. That'll turn off the webcam, or physically shut off the webcam for more security and privacy. You got to like that. IR, meaning you can log in with face recognition with Windows Hello. But overall, this is going to be good for your Skype calls, Zoom calls, hybrid work needs. This is definitely going to be good. Wow, that looks good according to Duck Vision. And of course, our expert, William here, camera looks good. I agree. All right, so that is the camera. Impressive. So if you have to do that kind of work through video conferencing, that will definitely do the job. All right, so let's go here and let's plug it back into the 230 watt, and we're going to do the Cinebench R23, which will, of course, we can do a modified test because we don't have all the time in the world today. Let me load that in. So let me go to the downloads here, and let me go to the Cinebench R23. There it is. Let me load that in, extract that, and that will load in. And of course, we have 82 of you watching, 76 likes, so please hit that like button. And again, as I stated earlier, we're getting close to 150,000 subscribers, about 220 or so, or 225 or so. So if you're not already subscribed, they got a lot of exciting stuff. Why not hit that subscribe button? It doesn't cost anything and helps out the channel. That is, of course, always appreciated. That being said, let's get this going here as far as the Cinebench R23. Basically, according to Darren, basically all the laptops of this form factor throttle. You need one of those big MSI laptops with the real cooling to better, not throttle. Again, one of the things the engineers have to contend with is between the power or the performance and, of course, the efficiency, battery life. Heat-wise, of course, they have to keep it relatively cool, but they will throttle it down in a lot of cases, so just keep that in mind. And we've seen that in the past. Again, I don't know what the thermal solution is here. We're going to open this up in a moment. I don't know if they're using vapor chamber cooling on this, but we'll take a look at it towards the end of the stream. According to Jeff, he almost bought the P16S Gen 2, which is the AMD model, but was turned off by the reviews. Many issues with sleep-wake. Okay. All right, so we're going to load this in. Let's go to advanced here. Let's do a 5-minute test here. So we're going to go to preferences, and let's do 5-minute custom to make things a little bit. And let's do the 5-minute here. Okay, so let's start the multi-core, okay? Now, while we're doing that, we're going to get a measurement of the surface temperatures, and we're going to measurement of the fan noise. So as we always do here, let me get my FLIR camera module that I'm going to put onto my Fold device, my Pixel Fold. Give me a second here. And I already hear the fans kicking in. Well, this loads up. Okay. All right. So, all right, let's get a measurement of the surface temperatures. So about 51, 52 where the heat vent is over back there above the keyboard below the display, which is to be expected, but nothing hot as far as the keyboard itself. Okay. From the side angle, again, in the 50 range here, 50 degrees Celsius. Okay, let's go to where it's plugged in on this side. And again, all the heat is being dissipated in the back there. About 52, 53 degrees Celsius. All right, let's do the underside. So about 57 degrees, which is about here. So that is the temperatures. So about 57. So it does warm up a little bit here. Nothing too crazy, but you will feel it. So just keep that in mind. And under load, you will feel it. All right. Let's take a measurement of the decibel levels as far as the sound or the noise level of the fans. And then we'll open it up. All right. So Darren is giving Jeff some advice on how to disable the sleep weight issue that he was experiencing. All right, so let me get this set up here on my Apple Watch Ultra. Okay, about 55 decibels, which is noticeable. So when you're under load, you're hearing the fans in full blast. 55 decibels, very noticeable. But I would imagine under balance mode, doing everyday tasks, it won't be much of an issue. But, of course, we'll test everything in the upcoming full review. And we're almost done with the multi-core score here. Again, things are, if you noticed, the screen went blank. That means it's updating drivers. So whatever we're getting here today, expect a higher result when everything is all loaded in, everything is updated, firmware done, updated, so forth, drivers updated. You'll get the real result, and that will be the final result that I'll show you in the full review. No, I don't care about that. It doesn't really help anybody. And no, I don't use it on other things. So, but thanks for the concern, Duck Vision, but they can't do much with that. Even if I did, but I don't. $15,445. So that is the score I just got. Let me see what the MacBook Pro 16 with the M3 Pro, not the Max, but the M3 Pro, Cinebench R23. Let me see if I can find the score on that. So according to, let's see what they got here. So the M3 Pro, I don't have that. Hold on. Does anybody know what the M3 Pro gets? Let me go back. So here we go. So here, this site seems to have it. Let's see. Geekbench 6. Here we go. R23, M3 Pro, 15,119 according to this Mac Stadium website. I don't know them. I got here 15,445. All right, pretty good. Do you want me to do the single core? I can do that for the full review. It takes 5 minutes or so. I'll save that for the full review. So multi-core is what I'm interested in here. 15,445. M3 Pro, 12 cores, it says here, 15,119. So this is a little bit better. But again, I don't have a MacBook Pro 16 to compare. I'm just going off some other results from the internet. Question from William. Would you take the sound measurement with the watch about the same distance as your head is from your PC? Does it make any difference? I try to keep it in between where the sound is coming from. So, William, I'll keep it around here so it picks up what's around this area. That's what I try to do. It's just more or less to give us an idea. It may not be the most accurate scientifically, William, although it is pretty accurate when you come. I don't have an actual sound meter. I'm just using the app on the Apple Watch, so not a big deal, but it gives us the ballpark figure, put it that way. So I think it's pretty accurate. Again, I probably should get a sound meter, a dedicated sound meter at some point, so we'll do that. But again, I'm just trying to give you, on a live stream, a ballpark figure. How does it different from the P16 Gen 3? I don't have the P16. Is it the Gen 2 or Gen 3, I guess? I don't remember, but we'll have to see. All right. All right, so let's close this. Let's open it up. We'll do a sound test maybe in the review, but let's open this up first. So let me shut this down. See, there are already, and you can see it here, there are updates. So we're going to do that on the off the air. We're not going to do that here. Let me close this down. Let me unplug everything, get my iFixit kit, and we're going to open this up. I want to see the situation. Does it have vapor chamber cooling? What's the upgradeability look like? Let's take this off here for now. Okay, that's off. Let's turn this over. Now, one of the things I love about the ThinkPad line is they use the Phillips head screws that are captive, so you don't have to worry about losing anything. And I have my iFixit kit right here. And all you got to do is loosen the screws here. Right? Okay. There's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 in total. And I love the fact they make it easy. Again, the IT department certainly will appreciate that, of course. Oops. All right, let's probably use my hands, but we'll see. I loosened it enough to make sure it's all loosened. Did I get this one? Let's make sure that's loose. Just go over it one more time. There we go. All right. Comes off like that. Boom. There's the cover, underside. All right. So this is what the internals look like. You can get a look at it here. So looks like we got SODIMM slots here, but I don't know if this is single channel. That's the other thing I'm not sure about. So let me be careful here. So it does look like there's an open SODIMM slot. So expect even better performance if we had a second RAM slot. So again, we have 132. Why they did this, I'm not sure. There's your 32 gigabyte module right there. You can see it there, right there. And then this one's open, so not in dual channel. So that is interesting. So we could actually get a little bit more performance out of this if we put a second one. Now, looks like we have vapor chamber cooling here. Now, again, you can see that, the two fans there. You can see the vapor chamber. Now, SSD will be over here. There's one there. Don't know, is there a second one that we can put in, a second SSD slot? So this covers on it right there, but I'm not sure if there's a second one. Now, the Wi-Fi card Bluetooth combo is soldered in, so that's not upgradable, which is not a big deal to me. 90 watt-hour battery there. So for those that are wondering, that is the internals. Now, it looks like we have upward firing speakers on this. So is there a second SSD slot? So these are the two slots here for the RAM. Looks like there's one SSD slot. I don't see a second space. Maybe I'm missing it. What is over here? No, I don't think it's that. So that looks like all the upgradability. That's interesting looking heatsink. It looks like both a vapor and a traditional heat pipes. So this would be vapor chamber, right? These covers here means that it would be vapor chamber, right, Duck Vision? And these are the heat sinks right there, and it's covered with some tape there over, I would presume, the CPU and the GPU. And then, of course, the 2 RAM slots are there. So these are the 2 fans. So that's what the internals look like. All right, so let's close it up, unless you have any more questions on that. But easy to get in, and that's good. Yeah, I agree, William. The easy accessibility is always appreciated on these. Make sure everything snaps back in, because everybody will comment, oh, the build quality looks so bad, there's some gaps. Yeah, usually I forget to close all the gaps when I put the cover back on, and then the brands get blamed, and then I make them look bad when it's really not their fault, it's mine. That's user error. So let's close that. Just screw them back in. Again, I love the active, or the captive screws, I should say. So there you go. So everything seems to be back into place, more or less. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Let's turn it back on. Hopefully I didn't short circuit anything. I've been known to do that. I believe you can go to 64 for sure. I don't know if you can go to 128. What does the website say? Let's see, as far as the RAM. Let's see here. Hold on. I'm on my screen over here. Let me just see. Interesting. Lenovo's website doesn't allow to add a second with the 3080. So my thing is, I think with that, the vapor chamber probably takes up more space. And that's why you can't add the second SSD with the unit that I have, with the 4080. Maybe what do they have, a 4060 maybe on this, or Ada Lovelace graphics, professional graphics? I don't know. That's a good question. Excuse me. All right, let me close my kit here. All right, let's load up Epidemic Sound. Let's get a listen to let me put it on me for a second, or actually, let me put it on here. All right, so this will give us a sound test. I want to see how these speakers sound. Now, according to this, the audio is Dolby Atmos with Dolby Voice, dual far-field mics, user-facing speakers. So that means these are speakers, it looks like. And I saw that they were up-firing when we opened it up. All right, so let me put it on me for a second. Put in my email. Keyboard feels great. Love it. Now, you do have the option to go with the optional broadband on this. In this case, what are they offering here? They're offering optional Fibercom L860 4G LTE Cat16 modem with eSIM support. I don't see 5G, interestingly enough, like we saw on the option for the X1 Carbon Gen 11. All right, let me go to my saves. Here we go. Let me go to Like Sounds. All right, so we're on. Let's make sure this is on full volume. We're going to switch microphones in a moment. Let me put the Dolby Atmos, Dolby Access app here. Let's skip all this. Let's go to the settings. Right now, it's on music. I'm going to put it on dynamic. I happen to like dynamic, but I could be wrong. Other people might like music, but let's keep it on the music setting. Dolby Atmos helps with the spatial audio. All right, let me pick a song here. Let's do this one. All right, so we're going to do Essentials by 91 Nova. I don't remember what it sounds like, but whatever. It is what it is. Let me switch microphones. Let's give it a sound test. All right, I like it. It sounds pretty good. What do you think? And of course, we could probably do a comparison with the MacBook 14. Let me bring that on, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. Hold on. So this is the M1 Pro, for those wondering. But it still has some good sound, of course. We know that. All right, so I have this. Okay, so here we're going to play the same song. We're going to start this one again. We'll just use the same Never Meant to Be by Gloria Tells, for those wondering. And we'll do the same thing on this one. All right, so let's play it. First, we'll do the ThinkPad, and then we'll do the Mac. Little bit better on the Mac, which is not a surprise. It's still the best in my opinion, but this is actually really good. I got to tell you, these are actually really good speakers. All right, so what do you think? You let me know, of course. This is the I wanted to say the X1 Extreme, but this does take its place. The P1 Gen 6. What do you think, people? Did you enjoy the show today? Let's see where we are. We're at 1 hour and 10 minutes. I think that is it. So we have 91 likes, 74 of you watching right now. I do appreciate everyone who showed up, and really, really nice stuff today. I'm impressed with this. I like the performance. Now, keep in mind, single channel RAM on here. If I add a second stick, maybe we'll do another 32 for a total of 64. We're going to see the performance difference. I expect maybe 15% better, maybe. We're going to find out. So that's pretty much it, folks. We're going to get this up and running as far as a review. That will be coming very soon. So I'm glad to see everybody turn up, and we'll see you next time. Again, for those joining us late, I do have the ThinkPad Z16 Gen 2 already on the way it's with FedEx already. Should get it early next week. So until next time, I will see you. Thank the moderators. You've done a great job. Once again, everybody who donated through the super chat, fantastic. I'll see you next time, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.